All right, we're back. We've got a very special look at the band Black Oak, Arkansas. The previous segment, we're talking about the iconic 70s and all the great tours and the Cal Jam and all the great albums and Jim Dandy to the rescue and all the great hits. But now, with our special guest, we're bringing it up to date. Please welcome co-vocalist, washboard technician, the scrub board, and backing vocalist, Sammy B. Seauphine, aka Little Bit. I had to get that in there.
Yeah, it's because I'm so short.
So obviously you joined up with Jim Dandy Mangrum, and this is 2013. So we're celebrating 10 years in the band, and this was right after we met the boys out here in LA. So
Yeah,
tell us about joining the band. Did you hear? Oh, you met Jim at a club. That's right,
I
and
did.
he came out to see your band, and he's
Yeah.
like, "You need to be singing with us."
Yeah, he told me I was better than the band I was in, is what he told me. And and I was like, okay, then it's kind of like Elvis when he called, and told him to do the Jim Dandy Rescue. When Jim Dandy asks you to sing, you don't say no. He will hound you down until you say yes. And so, um, yeah, and so that's how it all came about. And literally the first show I ever played with them, I only had like 3 days notice, on backing vocals and everything. And Ricky took me under his wing and he's like, all right, Sammy, come on. And he taught me everything I know as far as what I needed to do. So yeah, that first show, that was really a hectic show for me. We were in Houston at Fitzgerald's, and that's where I met their original drummer, Wayne Evans. He came to see us that night, and so it was a fully packed room. It was 800 people there, and it's like a balcony, that had 400 people, and you had 400 people down on the stage side, and so yeah, that was nerve wracking to go from singing, metal music and being in my own band, and I knew everything to do, and all, and then to go into Black Oak, who was, I'd been listening to my whole life from my dad. My dad was from the same area as Jim, a year younger, and so that was, yeah, that was wild. It's kind of what I would imagine Christina, Aguilera would feel like, well, did feel like when she was singing with Mick Jagger. That's how I felt the first time I was on stage with Jim. So
Yeah, there you go. He's a whirling dervish. He's out there, nonstop energy. He epitomizes the front man. And I did
yeah.
talk to him when he was out here, about David Lee Roth, and he laughed and he says, "Man," he said, "that boy didn't know me nothing." He said, "I'm glad he liked what we did, but he said I stole from the best of them myself." So you know, he said more
that,
power to him.
that is something he would say. Like to me, on my perspective of it, the way I say it to him, I believe that he had a lot of influence on a lot of people. And anyone who takes something from an artist that influences them, it's got to be good. That means you're doing something right. So,
Yeah, I mean, he had long blonde hair and loved to be bare chested and tight pants. So he's
yeah.
obviously going to have that comparisons.
Yeah,
But David's voice is different. The Van Halen's music's different, and all that. So
that's
he
true.
he saw it as a compliment. He says, "Man, keep it going. Do your
Yeah,
thing, man.
that's right.
I hope other people loved what we did enough to take a bit of it and put it in their own pot and stir it up." You
That's
know.
right.
But yeah, so those first few shows took you a minute to get fully acclimated and
Yeah, it
in
did.
into the songs. But
Well, plus, Ruby was the only other female that was in the band, so I had some big shoes to fill for me because I really looked up to her. Growing up, to me, again, she was fearless. I mean, I've got some pictures of her that I know that a lot of people have seen, but when I say fearless, this woman did not care what anybody thought about her, not what she wore. I remember Jim was telling me Butch Stone had wanted her to wear Priscilla Presley dresses because Priscilla, had her own boutique and stuff. And so, of course, they went and bought her some dresses and all. And they come back. Ruby did not like it at all. So then she went and got a bunch of Welch's grape juice, filled up the bathtub in her cabin there at the compound, in Bull Shoals. And so fills up the bathtub and throws the dresses in there to ruin them. But they didn't ruin them. It just dyed them. She still had to wear them. She cut them up and did everything else. She didn't want to be changed. She said, I'm going to do my own thing.
Yeah, she didn't seem like somebody was a pushover, like wear this, say this, talk like this.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. No, she was hardcore, I believe.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, to so many of us, if you weren't already indoctrinated to the early stuff, that image of her coming out and getting the crowd up, come on,
Yep.
Jim Dandy, and him coming out there and he's got the scrub board and
Yep.
working the crowd and the band, was locked in. She had that woman power, that girl
That's
power
right.
thing.
That's
She
right.
wasn't going to take no shit from nobody.
And that's about how I am in the band. I mean, there to me, this is only from my perspective again, but women, we all get a pretty hard time in music, especially in any career really, but especially women musicians. So with me out there with Black Oak, I was driving, I was helping load, unload. Me and Jim was the last ones unloading and loading every single show. And so Jim would call me the hardest working woman in music, and nobody even knew it. But everybody sees you get on stage, but they don't see what all goes on to get you there. You know, and so I went through it, and they definitely toughened me up and and gave me a big old heart too along the way. But that's the way you have to be in this business. You can't be a pushover, because if you are, then you'll never get anything done and you'll never be respected. That's the
Well,
way it is.
like you said, you got to have a really tough work ethic,
Yes, sir.
and the showtime is one thing, but
Hmm.
before and after the show, the work's got to be done. Whatever
Got to
needs
be
to be
done.
done to
That's
keep the show on
right.
the road. It ain't pretty, it ain't always glamorous, but to get to the next city and set up the next show, like they say, a lot of musicians say, I'll perform for free. Just pay me for all the travel and the setup.
Yeah,
I'm with it.
yeah. But then you never make a living doing that though, do you? I mean, think about it. I mean, if everybody said they do things for free, we'd have to have some kind of bartering system in play, because that doesn't exactly pay your bills. But
No, I mean,
you know,
jokingly, I was saying they pay you to do the setup and the travel, so
exactly,
you're still getting
exactly.
paid. It's just the way
Yeah.
they look at it. It's like, man, I'm having such fun on stage. You don't need to, pay me for this. Just pay me for all the rest of it.
Yes, sir.
But
Yes, sir.
no, I know it's exciting, and I know the loss of Ricky Lee, which I'm sure was like a big brother to you, to
Oh
teach
yeah.
teach you those
Yeah.
songs, and he was the backbone going all the way back to teenage days with Jim. So,
Yeah.
um, but what's Black Oak, Arkansas really like when you go back to the town? Because I know famously, and I think they even had it on one of the first album cards, might have been the first, where it's like population like
Yeah.
100 or
Population
something.
was 309, I believe. Yeah, 309 or 3.
Yeah. What's
And
it like? I'm sure it's very rural, and the compound and all
it's
that was very
well,
natureful.
the town of Black Oak's totally different than the compound. The compound was actually, in Bull Shoals Lake, that's near Mountain Home and all them areas. But Black Oak, the town, there's 3 Black Oaks actually in Arkansas, but the Black Oak Jim's from is by Jonesboro, Arkansas, which is about, I want to say an hour west of Memphis is where Black Oak is. And so literally if you hit one side of the town and you blink, you're going to miss the whole town, because when you come in, you see the population sign and you keep on going, and there's, a little firehouse or whatever, and there's Jim's mom and dad's house and all, and then there's a post office and a couple other houses and a gym. That is all that's there. That's it. There was
Yeah.
going to be a Black Oak Museum at one point, which they have their High on the Hog album covers actually painted on the
Yeah,
outside
I've seen
of the
that
building.
mural, definitely.
But now that building has been condemned. Somebody ran into it, actually had a heart attack or something driving, and ran into the front of the building last year. So now the building's been condemned. We're going to be moving the museum and all this. But yeah, there's nothing there but farmland.
Yeah,
Farmland
that's
and
for
animals.
sure. And it kind of made it special. I grew up all over the country and around the world myself, so I didn't grow up in one big city, so I already knew, the beautiful nature in the heartland of America and all that. But now you say the last album is the Underdogs album.
Yeah, Underdog Heroes. It came out.
Underdog Heroes.
Yeah, it came out May of
Okay.
2019.
Our friends over at Cleopatra, hats off to Brian and Tim over there.
Yeah, yeah, they're
And
great.
yeah, and it featured a DAT recording of one of the original old school recordings.
Yes, that was Do Unto Others, and that was Sean Lane. When he
Okay.
was in because he was in the band with him, when he was 16 years old.
Yeah.
He's so phenomenal. Um, so that is that whole recording was when they did back when he was in the band. They never released it, and so we released it on the Underdog Heroes album.
And you say there is a new album in the works,
Well,
and
it's
that's the
already
Devil's Jukebox.
Yeah, it's finished. We're just waiting for the vinyls and all to be printed.
Okay.
It's supposed to be coming out around Halloween of this year. We had started recording it um, at American Recording Studios in Memphis right before Ricky passed away. And so when Ricky passed away, we had to take a little time off before we could finish it. But it is a cover album. It has something for everybody on there, like Rolling Stones. We even have a Monster Magnet song on there. I do Don't You Want Somebody to Love by Jefferson Airplane and stuff like that. So it's pretty exciting. And one of our singles actually is out right now from that album. It's California Dreaming. And you can find it on Amazon, YouTube, any of the digital platforms right now.
Wow, California dreaming, and I guess you're dreaming about coming back to California
I
and
can't
Vegas
wait.
and
I can't
Arizona.
wait. I haven't been in LA since 2017. I went out there to sign a jewelry endorsement and all, and I went out there and man, I'm gonna tell you what, it was really fun, but I don't see how y'all deal with all the traffic. It's
Well,
like a
truth
night
be told, where I'm talking to you from, I'm in the Studio City Burbank area, right over by Universal Studios.
Oh
And
yeah.
and we do all our work from home offices and all that. And
Okay.
unless you got to drive across town, you never see a freeway. There's no traffic on the back roads. And right here in Burbank, they have equestrian centers. There's a lot of homes that got horses in their backyard and
Yeah.
all that. So it's the best of both worlds. It's like small towns connected by these freeways. But most days I don't see the freeway. So yeah, traffic sucks, but traffic sucks in other cities too. I mean, there's even traffic in Vegas now. I mean, it's no matter where you go,
Yeah.
there could be traffic. San Francisco's got some of the worst traffic, but you just got to plan accordingly. But if I had to commute to like an hour to work every day, oh, I'd kill myself. That's too
Yeah, I
much.
know. Because anytime I was out there, it's like you have to leave a few hours before you even have to be there. You got to get ready 4 hours before that, and it's like okay. But I did enjoy it though. A friend of mine actually lives in the hills, overlooking Universal Studios there, and I was watching the Jaws, 3D Shark, and you might even know him. His name's Dean Carr, and he does a lot of videos and such for
Oh
everybody.
yeah, sure.
He does underwater, photography and all. He's like, yeah, right down there you can see Jaws, and I was like, what do you mean see Jaws like the shark? And he goes, yeah, just stand there and watch. And about that time Jaws, pops up, and I was like, man, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, it's the best of both worlds. But, the Whiskey A Go Go, obviously legendary place, Led Zeppelin, Jimi Hendrix, I mean, the Doors, everybody played there and places like that around the Sunset Strip. And, you
yeah,
know,
yeah,
certainly getting you guys back. And I know, travel is some work. You got to spend some hours on the roads, but
yes, sir.
it's worth it because there's these pockets of Black Oak fans all over the country, and
That's right.
we don't get you as much as some of those southern towns that you frequent.
Well,
So
all that, with Jim and them getting older, for a while there, we actually stopped going to many places unless it was just regional around the area because the traveling got to be, a little hard on him. But now, though, he is like ready and raring to go, he says. So, Mason Stills is my other band, and we're on the tour with them. So we're bringing our bus. We're going to be riding in style this time.
oh my gosh, you're doing double duty. You're opening for yourself.
Yes, sir.
Oh wow,
Just like Ruby. Ruby
yeah,
used
great
to open
ghost.
for Black Oak. And Mason Steels, we're playing a lot more right now until we, got everything situated with Black Oak. But it was so crazy. When I met these guys, they formed their band in Vegas. And so they came from a metal band and everything else, but also the two guitarists that's in Mason Steels with me is also playing in Black Oak with me as well. So,
Okay. So
so
it
yeah,
is truly a family affair there.
it is all family, and both these bands are all family. We all work together, and we're all interlocked together. So yes, we are.
Well, we
Yeah,
want to encourage everybody to check the links below and go see the band as frequently as you can and follow them around. Tell your friends this is a special event. Come on out. They're not out here that often. And of course, get ready for that album, The Devil's Jukebox. I
yes,
can't wait to
yes.
hear all those great covers. Go check out California Dreamin' right now. And Sammy has promised us that sometime very soon we will have the man himself, Jim Dandy Mangrum, back on our show and talking to you all about the great Black Oak and all the new music and all that. So we're going to hold you to it.
Hey, I'm a woman of my word. I promise you. Ricky Lee taught me that.
Absolutely. Well, it's been a real pleasure. We thank you, Sammy. Our special guest is the one and only. She's the co-vocalist, the scrub board technician, the backing vocalist. She's in there helping to lay these songs down in the studio and put it down live and open for herself. So give it up for Sammy B. Seauphine in the house.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it, Jay.
Well, it's a real pleasure, and we'll be in touch and give our best to Jim and the boys, and we'll be out there in the front row with fists high and
All
and
right.
ready to party.
Yeah,
BOA is in the house.
you got to come do an interview with them again.
I will. It's always good to see him in person in addition to these Zoom calls, but nothing like sitting down with Jim and of course our chat with Ricky Lee's on our channel. So please
Yeah,
check that out. And we will
I
see you real
will.
soon. Thanks so much again.
Thank you, Jay. You have a good day.
Bye bye.